Can y'all hear me now? Say yes. Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Penny Wenny. Penny, can you hear me? Thank you for sharing. Oh, you guys can hear now. Okay, good. So I got so much stuff in front of me, guys. I swear. If you guys can see my desk, I'm glad you can't see my desk. I got all kinds of stuff on my desk. Water, just speakers, everything. Hey, Charlotte. Thank you. Hey, Melinda, Rhonda, Carla, Debbie. So you see Debbie? I have Facebook here. I have YouTube here. You see Debbie? This is what Debbie bought me, guys. Y'all see that? Debster. It's a big watermelon bowl. And of course, Penny's over there. Penny, go. No, no, no. Go to your mama. Go. You know what? I'm not. She would have left if I wasn't on live. She's playing. It is, right? I got too much going on. I don't know how I'm going to eat. Have this mic, the keyboard, and then the phone. Debbie, you're saying my name in several different languages. Hey guys, can you guys like and share this live? Hey Kathy, love. I'm gonna keep Facebook up. For some reason, I can't get it connected to my StreamYard, so it's not combined. But I'm not letting you guys go. But I encourage you to, if you have two devices, get on my YouTube also. Hmm? Yeah, I need her gone. I'm gonna eat one more.
Give me a piece of watermelon, she'll follow me.
I know.
Hi, everybody. Come on, little girl.
Mm-hmm. She loves watermelon, Carla. You don't know how to cut a watermelon? Don't worry. Send all your watermelons to me, Debster, and I'll cut them for you. This is my last one, I promise. Everybody saying hi, Lonnie. This is what Debbie gave me. I knew it came from her. You guys know that she gives me all those thoughtful gifts. I can't even finish it because the bowl is too big. And I got all these gadgets in front of me. Thank you, Rhonda. So, how you guys doing on today? How you guys doing? Y'all doing all right? Good afternoon, Michelle. Beautiful. Hey, Yolanda. Hold on one second, guys. You know what? I don't even know how to do it. I'm back on the times. I don't know how to put my subscribers link, my members link in the chat. That's okay. You guys know how to join my members. I don't know, YouTube. $4.99 a month. Best way to support me. Or Facebook, $4.99 a month. Become a subscriber. Life Quintalina, subscriber, a gem. Woo! Hey Keisha. Hey Janice. Oh, hey, Ken. Hey, I'm Larry from Connecticut. Yeah, you'll send them. Send them to me, Deb, so I'll teach you how to cut them. Hey, Karen Pierce. Thelma, Tammy. Hey, Tammy. Rhonda. So, guys, I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to come and drop a little bit of gems as I normally do. Some gems. I have two things going on here, my Facebook and my YouTube. Okay. So, she made her way back in here. Lord have mercy. I can't do it. Penny. Oh, hold on, guys. You just want a piece? Hmm. Okay. Anyway, so you guys, I don't know if you guys saw my post from last week or earlier this week. I don't know. The last post that I did, and I did a video about dealing with toxic family members, right? So if you haven't seen that video, please go back and look. It's on my Facebook and it's also on my YouTube. Yeah, she's sweet. Excuse me, guys. It's also on my YouTube. So, what I want to talk about today, and thank you so much for being on YouTube, also, guys. If you guys can double whammy it to YouTube, please do so. And don't look at my daggone finger because it's jacked up. Um, so dealing with toxic family members, right? So I want you guys to go look at that, and it was basically about having, I mean, dealing with people, making it like having two healthy choices out of three. One of the healthy choices and one of the appropriate and most reasonable choices in dealing with toxic family members, and this live is going to stem off from there. Dealing with toxic family members is, hey, Ursula. Dealing with toxic family members is that number one, you can tell your toxic family member, you can make a choice to disengage, separate from them, no longer having anything to do with them until they make healthy choices or until they're able to change in a way that doesn't affect the people around them negatively, right? That's one healthy choice. The other healthy choice, and I'm just summing this up, you guys got to go look at the 4 or 5 minute video. The other healthy choice and reasonable choice would be to stick by your toxic family members, understanding that they're at a place in their life right now where they don't have the ability to change. Not the ability, because everybody has the ability. They don't have the will to change at the moment. They don't have the strength or the courage to change at the moment. And so you make a decision not to judge them, not to criticize them, but to kind of support them in their efforts to change, hoping that they make a change soon to where it won't affect the people around them in a negative way. That's the second choice. The third unreasonable and dysfunctional choice is to be with someone with the hopes of changing them and trying to manipulate them into change, trying to anger them into change, trying to throw fits so that they can change, trying to control them so that they can change, try to make them change as if we have the ability to change. That's completely, I mean, we have the ability to change someone else's behavior. That's completely dysfunctional at its best. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. You guys can like and share this live, right? And so that's what that little video was about. Now, this one is about why people don't change. And the answer is simple. People do. Thank you so much for the hearts. And yes, guys, please send up hearts. Please send up hearts because at least Meta will see that you are engaging. Okay. So the reason why people don't change is because they're not ready to. It's as simple as that. They are not ready to. Okay. Now, here's the problem when we're dealing with family members, friends, or anyone that we love, and they show patterns of behavior that makes us feel uncomfortable, that kind of gets to us, that, and we all know people like this. We all have family members like this, right? Where they have either toxic behavior or they're demonstrating behavior that is destructive, um, and things of that nature, or they're in the transitional phases of their life where their behavior may appear to be toxic or self-destructive or whatever the case may be. Okay. When someone in your life that you love is displaying those type of behavior, it's not that they're wrong. It's not that something's wrong with them, because our instinct is to immediately, look at them as if they're toxic, look at them as if they're doing something wrong. Okay. And even though it appears to be a bit destructive and all those other things, it's wrong in the sense that it's destructive, but it's not wrong that they are in that place. And the reason why I say that is because everyone goes through a transitional phase in their life, right? When we're going from one level of our life to another. Okay. And sometimes that change don't look good, but it doesn't feel good to us. And because we're uncomfortable, we say that they shouldn't be there. We say that they should change. We say that they shouldn't be doing the things that they're doing. And then we render them incapable of changing, because you done told them X amount of times, you done did this, you done did that. They'd had, evidence of things not working, and they continue on the behavior of things not working. They keep on showing or demonstrating patterns of behavior that appear to be, like I said, destructive. When people that we love demonstrate behaviors that we necessarily don't understand, I am okay, thank you, Janine. When they demonstrate behaviors that we don't necessarily understand why they cannot get out of those behaviors, or they demonstrate behaviors that bring up bad feelings in us, most people say, I got to get away from this person, or that person is wrong. Hey, Janitha, or that person is wrong, right? And it's not necessarily that that person is wrong. Oftentimes, people show up in our lives to show us who we are. So our instincts is to say that person shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But the real spiritual lesson in that person showing up in your life, grinding your gears, of bringing up some level of destruction in you, is to show you the areas of your life that you need to change. Because when people demonstrate behavior that bothers you, who's affected? You are, right? Who does it stress out? You, right? And what does stress do? Hey, Bernadine, and what does stress do? Stress makes you sick. It causes dis-ease in your body, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, the only person that's really being affected, yes, I am, Sandra, the only person that's really being affected is you, even though the person appears to be affected by it too, but that's by their will, that's their own doing, that's their own choice, right? But when someone else's behavior affects you to the point where you begin to be toxic, and you begin to demonstrate toxic behavior, and you begin to respond in a way that's not healthy or conducive to a healthy relationship, hey, Rebecca, then the lesson is really for not only that person who's going through that transformation, that transitional phase, or that trying phase, is really for us. It's for us, because we still have to figure out why are we so bothered by someone else's behavior, right? That's a flaw in and of itself. Something is wrong with that, because we have enough going on in our lives to where we need to be more concerned about what's happening with us, right? So to think that because a person is not changing at your pace, at your timing, and then we tend to put the whole age thing on it and say, oh well, you're this age and you're still doing this and you're still doing that. Well, guess what? We're all at an age where we're still doing this and still doing that. There's no rule book at what to tell us what age somebody should stop doing something, or what process of their life or what process of development, or what scale of development, hey Lily, that they should be in at whatever specific age. People grow at their own pace, and people make changes at their own pace. And if we have a problem with how somebody's life is running at this very moment, we have choices that we're presented with at every turn, right? We have choices. Either we can deal with them and decide to work or be, to a person, having the strength to kind of see them through this rough patch, which again, the only rough patch is you, because it's affecting you more than it's affecting them, you know, more than it's affecting them. We all have to, you know, go through things in order to become better. And those trying times is what makes us better human beings, right? So it's not that being toxic is wrong. It's not that expressing bad behavior is wrong. It's wrong in the sense that it seems to be destructive. It's wrong in the sense that you feel that you're part of that destruction, but you only feel like you're part of that destruction. Hey Liz, you only feel like you're part of that destruction because you choose to associate with the perceived destruction, and you become involved in that destruction by choice. You jumped into that body, you jumped into that destruction, and because you jumped into it, now it's affecting you, right? And so that's why I said in my video that I had posted a while ago, we have two choices. We can either hold on. Delma says, don't let anyone stress me. I don't let anyone stress me out anymore. I stopped that a long time ago. It was making me sick. Exactly. That's exactly what it does. What's wrong? Hey, Janine. The team is fine, Thelma. Why did you say that? I mean, not Thelma, Janine. You said, what's wrong, coach? Is the team fine? The team is fine. Everybody's good. Darnell, I believe, is going live later. What I'm speaking about is general. And like I said, if you saw, or if you haven't seen my post from my video from a few days ago, this is kind of stemming from that, right? So thank you guys so much for the hearts and the likes, and I would appreciate if you share it. Thank you so much. So like I was saying, when people express behavior patterns that kind of irks us, that kind of grinds our gears, right? It's not necessarily that they need to change on the spot. From a metaphysical perspective, from a spiritual perspective, it's typically because we have to look at ourselves and why we are feeling so negatively about a person's actions. Typically, a person's behavior and the way that we react to their behavior, if we're reacting in a negative way, that means that that person showed up in our experience to show us who we are and to let us know the areas of life that we need to change our lives. And I know that sounds kind of weird, guys. Thank you so much. I know that sounds kind of weird and off-putting, right? But it's really not, you know. There's purpose in pain, and you guys know I always say that there is purpose in pain, right? We have to figure out the lesson of every uncomfortable or bad or poor experiences that we are having in association or in relation to people, right? There is no such thing. Thank you so much, Thelma, for the look, silky slip sticker. Super sticker. Thank you so much. We have to discover and we have to determine why we get so riled up when someone doesn't change according to our time clock. That person is in our experience for a reason. And the reason why that person is in our experience, grinding our gears as a thorn in our side, and all those things is not because they're bad people. It's because they are there to help you change. What are they there to help you change? Your mindset, your judgments, your criticisms, your expectations, because it's not healthy for any of us to have expectations on anyone, right? So if it's making you feel, I know you understand, Michelle. I know. So if it's making you feel uncomfortable, if someone's behavior is making you feel uncomfortable, hey, Marianne, it's making you feel uncomfortable. You have to fix that thing that's broken in you that's making you feel uncomfortable. It's because you are associating yourself with something that you perceive as damaging. And if you're going to associate yourself with something or perceive it as damaging even to you, because that's the core of it, then what's going to happen? It's going to become damaging. You don't get what you want, you get what you focus on. Right? And one of the ways that I have realized that I have learned to um fix and manage within myself is when I see myself get completely frustrated with a person's behavior, a family member's behavior, someone that I deeply love, that I want to stay connected with. When I find myself getting frustrated with someone's behavior, I detach myself from the need of them acting or being a certain way. That's what I do. I eliminate the need, because if I see myself getting frustrated with someone or with whatever it is, hey, Barbara, that means that I have an expectation on them. And why do I have expectations on people? Only expectation I could put is on myself. You see what I'm saying? Why do I have expectations on people? Something is wrong with that picture right then and there, right? Right? And so what I do is I detach myself from the need for anyone to be any kind of way. By me doing that, I eliminate those hard feelings that come up in me when a person acts in a way that I've previously found toxic, that felt bad to me. You know what I mean? That was kind of hard to watch or whatever it is. Most times when we put expectations on people, it's because we are controlling. We need to control what someone does in order to make us feel better, right? And instead of dealing with why we feel bad, we decide to put stipulations and conditions on their behavior and render it toxic or render it, destructive or whatever it is. And then you eliminate yourself from the situation and say, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be around that person no more. I'm not going to do this and that and the other. It's hard to be around that person. Well, you have a choice to walk away from people that disturb your spirit. However, if you haven't done the spiritual work to find out why that came to you, because see, whatever comes to us and whatever affects us, and I'm talking about whatever affects us is the thing that belongs to us. Things are going to come to us all the time. Hey, Vidette, things are going to come to us all the time, but it's not going to affect us. What affects us belongs to us. What affects us, what doesn't affect us, don't, right? So if something affects you, that means that it came to you for a reason. That means that your spirit drew that thing to you to work something out in your life. Not necessarily for you to point the finger and say, well, you're this and you're that and you're this and you're that and you need to stop. No. Why are you getting so frustrated? Why are you losing your patience? What are your expectations for a person that's causing this type of discomfort in your body, in your mind, in your spirit? Hey, Beverly. So, like I said, there's only two healthy choices. There's only two healthy choices. The first one is to make a decision to separate yourself from that person, primarily spiritually, because you're not spiritually ready to deal with your own demons. But on the surface, it's separating yourself from that person because they're displaying toxic behavior. You love them so much, but you can no longer be in their presence. You can no longer extend the energy that it's going to take to self-care and regulate and self-regulate yourself as a result of their behavior. So you make a conscious choice to leave them alone. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because there's going to be somebody else down the line that you're going to run into that's going to dread up them same feelings. And eventually you're going to have to deal with why you have those feelings. We're great with that. And the other choice is choosing to love somebody through their mess, but understanding what's required to do that. You got to do that without judgment. You got to do that without condition. You got to allow people to change and grow at the pace that they're going to do it. And you have to learn to detach yourself in a way to where you allow them to be themselves while you and when you do that, you protect your peace. That's very hard to do, though. That's very hard to do. You have to be a person that literally can detach themselves away from the expectation of what you think that they should be doing. You have to do that. I'm good at that. It affects me sometimes, but I'm good at that. I did it with my brother. I did it with many family members. With many family members I did that with. You know what I mean? So, those are the only two healthy choices. The most toxic and the most dysfunctional choice is to think that you have the power to change someone, that you can manipulate them into change, that you can shame them into change, that you can tantrum them into shame, that your anger, that your outburst or anything or your frustration is going to cause a person or prompt a person to change. It doesn't happen. People only change when they're ready to change. And that's the bottom line. Now, all the thing, if you matter to them, how they made you feel is going to be part of the reason why they change. But the primary reason why they change is going to always be within themselves. It's going to be because they were actually ready. And then they have all these, and then you become one other reason for them to change. Michelle said, I know, I completely understand. I sure do. Tina Rodriguez said, I'm going through this right now and I'm finding it hard to detach. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. It's because, Tina, you have expectations. You have unrealistic expectations for someone. And you think that they're realistic because you're like, hello, it's Claire. But you have unrealistic expectations for someone, meaning that you are setting standards for people and how they show up in the world. And we all show up based on experience that we had. And we only evolve through self discovery and self development. And that takes time. That takes time. So the only thing that you can do is walk away. When it came to my brother, before he passed away, he didn't die from alcoholism, but he was an alcoholic and he was my soulmate. And I always get the story. My favorite person in the world, out of all my siblings, out of everyone, he was my soulmate. We were the closest than anybody I can. I loved him beyond life, but he had this destructive addiction where he would get crazy when he not crazy, just belligerent when he drinks, and it was so destructive and disturbing and hard to watch and hard to deal with. Even I was able to be with him, not when he was in those behaviors though. When he was tired of being on the street and tired of drinking, he would call me and say, want to come home. He'll come home for like 8 months. He wouldn't take a drink. He'll just be here and just, be with my family, my dog, clean my house. He'll do everything in the yard. He'll make himself, active, and he just enjoy family time, but when he was ready to go back to drinking, I tried to, I would offer him, you can stay here. You don't have to go back to the streets. And he said, no, I got to go. It's okay. And I was okay. I hand him a bunch of money and say, okay, go ahead and do your thing. So, and I was okay. And I slept good at night because I had to come in alignment with his choice. You see what I'm saying? That was his choice. And even though I saw that it was killing him, it was his choice. And I could no longer suffer the effects of his choices. So what I do, I agree with his choices, not wanting him to do that, but it's not up to me. I have to be okay with his choices. I have to be okay with how he wanted to live his life, even though it was in an addictive pattern. I didn't have any guilt. I had guilt though for about 15 years. My heart was ripped out watching him in the streets and in shelters and just being really destructive with his life. But after a while, I was like, oh no, mm-mm. When am I going to let go? Why am I expecting him to change when he needs to change on his own? I completely detached myself from the outcome of what, or my idea of how his life should be. And I conformed to his idea of life. And when I did that, I found tremendous peace. I found peace. Thelma said, I do that also. I do that also, and I feel better. I just let it go. When they come around, I just smile while I use to tense up. Yeah, you just have to be at peace. And you know what's the best way to peace, Thelma? You know what the best way to peace is? Knowing that life can show a person better than you can tell them. Life has a way of self-regulating itself. Life has a way of self-regulating itself. And life is everything. Life is karma. Life is self-regulation. Life will sit your behind down, and you know that because life sat you down. That's how you end up to be the person that you are today. Life sat you down, not people. Life, right? It taught you the biggest lesson. It gave you the biggest spanking, one that you will never forget. And because of that spanking, you grew. So I rely on that, and because I have that, I'm able to deal with my family members. I may, not, I mean, and I come from a very loving family. I keep telling you guys that. But, just like with every family or any friendship, you know, I know how to deal with it. I have a friendship of 40 something years, and that's my very best friend. And there's some things there, I had to detach. I had to detach from. You know what I mean? Hey, Dorothy. We don't know. Addiction is addiction is a beast. So addiction cause, when somebody's addicted, that's, we don't know what make them go back. All we know is that I know as far as physics, what it does to your human body, and how your human body, how the human body craves something after, or when they're going through detox, they end up returning back to the same pattern because detox is so painful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to lower your expectations. The only expectation that we should be having is on ourselves. That's it. You should never look at a person and say they're this old. They shouldn't be doing this. They're too young to be doing that. They shouldn't be here at the time of their life, at the place of their life. Why not? Who says so? Are we all robots landing in certain areas of our life? Like, are we all on the same path? No. We're all on different paths. We're all on paths of self-discovery. And because we're individualized consciousness, there's no way that we can have the same walk in life. Some of us get on board later on, but that doesn't mean we're late. That means we're just on time. You see what I'm saying? But some of us will look at things as being, okay, you're late. You should have been known this. You should have been here. No, says who? Says who? Hey, Tracy. Keisha said, that's so true. Life has a way to speak volumes to me. It's a lesson or a blessing. You got that right. I know it. I know it. But says who? Who says everybody's supposed to have a white picket fence, a dog, and children, and a homeowner, and a pension, and a job? Who says everybody's life's supposed to go in that way? What about people that live on other parts of the world that are tribal? They don't have jobs. They don't use money. They don't use any of that stuff. They use natural resources. Who's to say how a person's life is supposed to be? So when people don't accomplish certain things in life, automatically they're failures. We deem them as failures. Why? Because we have transcended in so many areas. Well, just because we have done this, that, and the other doesn't make us better than the person who hasn't gotten it yet. Of course it was. And that's between him and God. That's between them and God. Right? I can tell you one thing. We planned it all. And I mean that in a sense as far as our spirit. And this is not a spiritual conversation, but if you know me, you know my page. I'm all about metaphysics, quantum physics, and I write about spiritual consciousness and awareness in the soul. So nothing in life is an accident. Wherever we end up in life, I don't care if it's an addiction, I don't care if it's a early death, I don't care what it is. There are no accidents. Everything that happened was supposed to happen, and it's a reason for it. And there's no injustice either, even though it appears to be, with the justice system and all that other stuff on the surface is definitely injustice, but from a metaphysical perspective, it's there is no such thing as injustice, because God uses it all, and all things work together for good. You know what I mean? Hey, Sharon. Honey child, sister girl. Hey, Elaine. Yeah. So, I mean, if you really look at it, that's what it is. That's what it is. We planned it all, to be honest with you, and we can get into that because y'all know I be getting all into that stuff. Oh, this is a good one. Tina said, Tina said, but help me understand why we grew up in the same household and I get out of it to show up and show out. How come the other person not know the same? I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'll take no, there's no you're not wrong. You just don't know. Okay, until you get to a place of knowing. Listen, oh, this is good. And I was going to do a whole live on this, okay? But I'm going to give you a piece of this because you brought this up. All right, you ready for it? Hold on, Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. Hey, Francis. Everyone's good. I'm good, thank you. Okay, so y'all ready for this one? And this is good. I'm excited to give you this answer. Like, Lena, give me the damn answer already, right? Okay. You can have siblings. You have siblings, right? I have 5 siblings. All right. However many siblings is that you have, right? Just because you grew up in the same household does not mean that you had the same parents. Hold on, hear me out. I know that sounds crazy, right? If you grew up in the same household, and I'm just assuming you have 2 parents, right? Let's just assume that for argument's sake, okay? And you have 3 other siblings besides yourself, so it's 4 of you guys, right? None of you shared the same parents. You don't have the same parents. And what do you mean by that, Lena? What do you mean we don't have the same parents? We're both born of the same parents. Well, physically, you were born of the same parents. Spiritually, you weren't. And let me tell you why, right? Everyone, including you, we go through different stages of self development, right? We are not the same parents with our first child as we are with our 4th child. Why? Because things change in our lives, right? We change, we evolve, we grow. So what I mean by that is that all of your siblings, your all of your siblings, they had different versions of your parents. We all know that our first child, I got 3. My twins are 29. Your first child, which is he's in his 30s, the first child is a guinea pig. Can we agree on that? You know why he's a guinea pig or she's a guinea pig? Because the first child, because there's no rule book to parenting, right? And so we're figuring it out. Even though our parents did it and the grandparents and ancestors did it, we still don't know because everyone is individualized consciousness. Everyone is individualized human beings with separate personalities, right? So that first child get the brunt of you. They get the worst and the best, not even the best. They get the worst of you because while you have never been a parent, they have never been a child. So they got it. So you got to figure all that stuff out. And as you're figuring it out, it's at their expense. It's at their expense. They're suffering the war scars of your personal development as a parent. That's the first child, right? Sylvia says, true, true, true. Let me see what y'all saying. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna get to the rest of it. Yes, my eldest sister is a complete opposite of me. She chooses a life of drugs and destruction. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. That is absolutely wrong. Okay, so right, so that's the first. So if you're the first child, and that's I'm assuming you're the first child. I'm not saying that you are. For argument's sake, you're the first child. Okay, you got the version of your parents as they were transitioning into parentinghood, being a parent, learning how to be a parent, right? So the sibling that comes a year or 2 or 3 behind you is not going to have the same parents as you, even though you're in the same household with the same physical bodies. Parents. No, they're getting a different version of your parents, and now they're getting a more empathetic version because typically, I had 2 pregnancies, twins, and then my first pregnancy, right? By the time I got to my twins, I was a completely different parent. My son says to this day, Mom, you was completely different. My kids will have all different experiences. And guess what? I have twin girls. You would think that they got the same version of me. Mm-mm. They sure don't. All three of my kids have different versions of who I really am. Isn't that crazy? And they're all right. And they're all right. You know what I mean? They're all right on the mark. They all have three different experiences with me. They experience me differently as a parent, all three of my kids individually different, right? So then you get a parent that has your child a few years later. That's a different parent altogether. That's a different person altogether, because you're not the same person you was 2 or 3 years ago. Your parents wasn't the same person either 2 or 3 years later from the date that they had from the time that they gave birth to you. Okay, so that next child has brand new parents, even though it's the same parents. He has a brand new version of them. And because it's a brand new version of them, he's going to have a different experience with them. So it's not going to be the same. And then here comes another child, 5 years down, or even 2 years down. That child is getting a different version of your parents. So then you have a household with 2 and 3 children, and each one of you did not have the same parents, even though biologically you were born of the same parents. You had different, completely different versions of parents. And because of that, that's why you can live in the same household and be fed the same thing. And every one of you guys walk away with different experiences. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I was going to do a whole live on that. You number 6 of 7. Yeah. Sharon, you're number 6 of 7. You had a completely different version of your mother, your father, or your parents together. We physically have the same parents, but we don't have the same parents spiritually because of their spiritual development or lack thereof or their journey. It's like taking you on a journey. One child, you're an addict, right? You're an addict. One child, you're an addict. The parent was an addict, and my mom was never an addict. Say that the parent had me. Now I have the experience of an addictive parent. I suffer the war scars and the bruises of addiction. I don't eat. I'm not well taken care of. I have a different experience in school. I have behavior problems because I've been neglected. Then you get another child that where the parent is now sober. Now that parent, thank you guys for the hearts. Give me some more hearts. That parent is a different version. So now that child has a different experience with that parent. Right? And that's the recovery phase. And then here comes the other child. Now, not only does that third child get the better version of that parent, because not only do they get, not only, there's no addiction, there's no recovery. Now that parent is leveling out as a parent, and because of all the damage that the parent did to the first two child, now that third child is getting all the benefits of that, because now it's parental guilt that's driving that parent's that's driving that parent's behavior. So that third child is getting spoiled. And now the first two children are like, okay, that third one is a favorite. And now they're feeling neglected. And then here comes a fourth child, which knocks the third child out the box. And now the fourth child gets everything. Why? Because that parent then went through addiction, recovery, leveled out as a parent, and now that parent is successful. So now not only does that child get the things that the first child never got, the first child never got food, was never fed right, didn't have the right clothes, couldn't afford nothing, had all these bad experiences and all the things that addiction comes with. And now this fourth child has everything. Why? Because now the parent is working, they have a career, now they could afford more, now that child is spoiled. And this is why children have different experiences with the same parent, because they had different parents growing up spiritually. That was fun to tell. Okay, so Frida said, I have 3 daughters. I raised them all in the same household as well. One was completely different than the other two. Still to this day, she's completely different from them. Absolutely. Do you see my point? Do y'all see it? I'm second. She is my oldest. Okay. Trust me, she had it harder than you did. Ain't nothing like the guinea pig child. That first kid. That first kid is a guinea pig. I'm in the middle. My mom just about had it right. By the time she got to me, I was a spoiled one because I was a fourth. By the time she got to the fourth one, I was good. I didn't get the spankers as a child. I got whatever I wanted. Everything was good. And she was exhausted from being mad at the other four their life. So, hey, Stephanie. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you learned a lot. I come shedding gems, giving gems, okay, because I was the same with mine, I'm sure. You was the same. You think you're the same person. They got different versions of you. You weren't the same person to all of them. And this is why when people say, "Oh, I love all my kids the same," you love them all the same, but you don't treat them all the same because each child requires something different. Each child requires something different. When I hear people say, "I treat all my kids the same," no, you don't. You can't. And if you do, it's because you're parenting from a very surface, blind base. You're not really digging into their needs because every child is a different human being and they have different needs. So it's no way that you can treat all three of your kids the same. It's just no way. Vinette said, I have three children, and my children say that about me as their mother. The oldest 40, 28, 25. I agree with you on the different versions on of you with each child. I agree. Yeah. Just think about it. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. It ain't true. Stephanie Dismuse said that's so true. I raised my granddaughter differently from my children because I had more patience as I grew older. And they get everything. And then what happens? Your children start becoming resentful. I mean, if they're old enough, they're good. But if they still young, they get resentful. Like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. That's not that shoot. Grandbabies, we get to do it all over again. My grand biscuit have it way better than my kids. Not way better. He has a lot more. And he has a better version of me because now I'm done raising them. They're all adults. I have grown. I have transcended. I do a lot of my spiritual work. I have grounded myself in a way, and I'm fulfilled and happy. So because I'm at a place where I'm fulfilled and happy, my grandson gets everything. Let me see what y'all saying on Facebook. Hey, Lena, you are so true. I say that all the time. Yes, Teresa, thank you. Hey, Lane. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sharon Ben said, baby, I was a miracle. My mom told me I almost didn't make it here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Renee said, true talk. Silver said, thank you, Lena. You are correct. My last child of 13 years young, excuse me, younger than the oldest. Yes, I was different when she came along. Mm-hmm. Tyann said, I am, that's true. I am the second. My youngest sisters had everything. Yeah. Yeah. And the middle child is that's a whole different experience. Because the first child gets everything. The first child goes to the trial. The second child is a focus of attention, and now the first child, and then now the first sibling is jealous of the second child. Then here comes the third child, knock the second one right out the box. You get no more attention. Here comes the third child. It's just crazy. It really is. Jennifer says everyone is either, and this is on YouTube, guys. I'm looking on YouTube. Everyone is either in two places in life, a choice they made, or they are in the middle of a lesson not yet learned. That's deep. I like that. I like that, Jennifer. I agree with that. And I'm kind of delayed, guys. Oh my God, you're speaking my story of my coming up as a second child. Thanks for the insight. I so appreciate it. And you, Lena. You're welcome, Tina. I'm happy I can help. And I'm looking around because I have to look over my phone, guys. Rochelle said, I just had my first and only 4 years ago at 37. He spoiled rotten. Yeah, and he got the best version of you because you done made it through your 20 dumbs, which is anybody in their 20, I consider 20 dumb, because that's what they are. He done made it through your 20 dumb, he done made it to your transitional change, and now you're in your 40s. That's perfect. Perfect. He got the perfect, that child got the perfect version of you. Rebecca says, I have three boys, 25, 23, and 7. My youngest has a totally different mother because I have matured and I learned through my many mistakes. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Sylvia. There's 6 of us, all different, and you can see the difference in the way we were parented. Yeah, and you know what? The common theme when it comes to differentiate, when people differentiate children or siblings, is when one don't do better. Like if one does better than the other, then the other one failed, or the other one didn't listen, or something. This has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. If you have succeeded in your life and your sibling has failed, it's not because you were smarter or you was wiser. That sibling had a different parent in the same body of your parent. That sibling experienced a different version of your parents, you know? And you have to think about that. He didn't fail. She didn't fail. She didn't choose the wrong path. She has that child experienced a different version of the same parent. Um, hey, Catherine, honey, child, sister girl. My grands has it better also, and my kids do get jealous of how I treat her. I know listen, my kids be like, Mom, really? You would have never let us get away with that. I'd be like, hush up and leave him alone. He's getting everything going thing he wants. I don't discipline the same. Nope. There's no discipline. Now it's learning. Every look, everything that my grandson does is a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment. You know what I mean? Which is not what my kids got. Oh my God. Yeah, so there you have it. Mm. Elaine says, I have 2 children and my daughter 36. I have 2 children, my daughter 36 and my son is 34. My daughter is different than my son. He is very sensitive and I have to watch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's that. Thank you, Tina, for asking that great question. Thank you for asking that great question. Lily Coleman says, yes, my grands got a better version of me because I learned so much raising my kids. Right. People categorize that into favoritism, all that stuff, and if the parent is divorced or had a baby daddy and now they're married to somebody else and had a child, the siblings before that will get resentful and be like, yeah, she favor him better. That's why that child, my sister or my brother get treated better because she's in love with her husband and she favor him, and my husband and my father was a butthole. It's really not true. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that at all. You're welcome. So true. Her dad and my son doesn't understand, but he appreciates it. I know. They won't understand until they become a grandparent. They won't understand. They won't understand. They don't understand, but it's important. My twins are different, yes. And you know what? They're identical mirror twins, but they're not identical in the sense that they look just alike. They did at one point. But the doctor called them mirror twins. They're identical because they were in the same sac. I was actually pregnant with triplets, and one of them passed. So them two um, came forth, and yes, they're different. They're the same, but they're different. I can say they're more. I can say they're more alike than they are different, though. But they did experience different versions of me, which is crazy because I had them at the same time. They have not different versions, yeah, different versions. I had them at the same time. So you would think that in that headspace, that's what they got, right? My son sees them having that same treatment, right? But my daughter's experience, one of them versus the other, they experienced me different. And the reason why I believe they experienced me different still, even though they got the same version, is because they had different needs. They have very different needs. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, they do. And my daughter's jealous. You see that? Yeah. Am I still frozen, Sharon Benz? Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys, that was an interesting topic. And guess what? I'm going to probably do, not probably, I will do another live about that, about this. Excuse me. I will title it different and I'll do a different live about it, another live about it. Hey, Lynette. Can you guys like and share this live? And I would probably do it tomorrow. Or who knows, I might just do a video of it and upload it. I'm trying to do more videos and upload more videos. Because for some reason I don't have a whole lot of time. Yeah. It'd be important for people to understand that, you know? Thank you so much, Sharon. It's important that people understand that. It'll help them understand their journey because a lot of people have resentment around that. So, guys, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me on this live. I don't know how long I've been on live, but I think it's been enough. I have some things to do with my book and whatnot. And I know Darnell will be on later. I believe he's coming on later. Okay. I'm not sure if Chef is coming live, but I know Darnell is going to be on later. So make sure you set your notifications for Darnell's live. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.